the October 11th Board of Police Commissioners. And Ron, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure. Look, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the
republic
for
which
which
stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first order of business is the approval of the draft minutes from September 12th, 2023.
So moved.
Have motion has been made to approve. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So carries. With respect to the award presentation, we're going to table the award presentation until next month.
Really?
Yes. But we'll let you know.
We need a motion on it?
No, we don't need a motion. Traffic surveys, Kevin's not here today, so I'm going to ask Commissioner Pine if he'll present the survey number 1 location.
Okay, survey number 1, location, Black Rock Avenue at between School Street and Stephens Lane. Stevenson, sorry. Nature request, issue of concern, the roadway is narrow and unsafe. Parking, speeding, and sidewalk. Sightline is completely obscured by a sharp drop in the roadway. Request making the road one-way northbound only, or block it so the through traffic will have to use the wider Black Rock Turnpike. By whom? Mr. Stuart Whiteside.
Thank you.
Recommendation, let me read that. Recommendation is to install a double yellow line on Black Rock Avenue between the bottom of the hill on Black Rock Avenue and School Street. Deny one-way street. Stevens Lane, move no parking here to corner sign at the corner of Stevens Lane and Black Rock Avenue, 30 feet west to improve line of sight at the stop sign.
Good afternoon, Mr. Whiteside. Would you like to speak?
I have a comment on that. On moving that parking sign.
Oh, before you say anything yet, please go to the stand and...
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
That's
hard.
fine. No problem.
Okay.
Let us have your name and address, please.
Francis Nistemski, Niestemski,
And what's your address?
782 Mill Plain Road, Fairfield.
Thank you.
Regarding moving the stop sign, that intersection is really bad because it's 2 lanes. One lane goes onto 95 on the left side, and the other lane straight goes onto, was it Fairchild? The street goes straight.
Together, smart.
Right.
Smart landscaping.
Well, there's always a bronze color Honda Element. The guy lives down the street, always parked there, and you have to go in the other lane to get around that car, and moving that sign 30 feet will help flow the traffic much better.
Now, Mr. Nistemski, you live on Mill Plain Road,
Right.
but you're commenting upon this particular...
Right, because I use that road all the time.
Okay. Fair enough.
I use that road. I avoid the highway.
Yes.
Because, so, and I think that's a good idea. So, moving that, the stop sign, not the stop sign, no parking sign, thank you, 30 feet, because that would really, really help alleviate that jam, because cars coming the other way can't see the cars stopped on Black Rock Avenue. They just can't see it. Okay, that's it.
Anything else?
That's it.
Do you have anything else to say?
That's it.
Thank you.
I'm hard of hearing.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Any comment from the...
Rain,
from the
my
board?
name is Rain.
But that is the recommendation.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation.
Oh, second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carries unanimously. So we have approved the recommendation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So that's fine. Move on.
Where are we at here?
Survey number 2, 4085 Park Avenue. You want to read that, Russ? Here.
Yeah, okay. Sir, you're... Okay, nature request. Request to install no parking anytime on Park Avenue at 4085 Park Avenue North, 98 by whom Lieutenant Michael Harris. Recommendations from 4059 Park Avenue, Fairfield, to install no parking at any time sign north past is Dudig Street. DPW to clear existing signs from brush and debris.
Yes. Would you like to comment
Sure.
on this?
So,
Officer Pierce?
thank you. So we've noticed that Sacred Heart University students have been parking along the Fairfield side of Park Avenue. And we've had a complaint from one particular resident who was very concerned about the parking not being able to see when he comes out of his driveway. And we evaluated it and we saw that the condition was hazardous if vehicles are parked there. It was my thought that Park Avenue on the Fairfield side was no parking anyway. We did some research and couldn't determine exactly if signs were there in the past or not. But one thing to note is to avoid these parking issues on the Bridgeport side, Bridgeport put no parking signs on their side. So I think we may have just been behind a little bit for these, schools installed and the dorms, et cetera.
North 90 acres.
It's just south of 90 acres. So it's between the Greek church on the Fairfield side, north past, or to 90 acres, because that all 90 acres is no parking anyway.
Okay.
So it would really just keep in line with what Bridgeport had done and really what would be doing a service to the community there. And I should note, I just received today a neighborhood petition from the neighbors that would be affected from it, all in approval of these signs.
Any comment from the board?
Yes,
Yes.
I'd just comment that when we did the traffic study, most of that was already posted. It was just one area
Yes, sir.
where the signs were not present. And so, other areas, there were signs that were covered by
Yeah,
brush,
that's
that
right.
sort of stuff. So
That's true.
it's basically just gonna finish off the side of the street.
Correct. Because there's already no parking beyond that also.
We have a motion to approve from the board? Motion approved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So passes. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, to noise variance approvals.
So we had several noise variances submitted by Parks and Rec. We have an online portal now that they go on, and if they have an event that they think may require a noise variance, they can apply through our website for the noise variance. And as we shared earlier, that I was going to bring kind of the noise variances to your attention so you're aware, most of which October is halfway through, so most of which are already done. Most of them are bridal showers, church social, celebration of life, bar mitzvahs, pretty much non-events, but I think Parks and Rec is kind of just submitting them as a, anecdotal. Oh, what's that?
CYA.
So are officers actually going out in these instances to check?
No, what we do is we take the noise variances that are signed, we put them in the shift commander's office, and in the event we have a response to a certain venue, the officers will ask the shift commander or the front desk officer to review to see if there was a variance in place, and if that variance is in place, then we would not take any action on the call.
Have we had any, complaints at all?
One. One of which that had a variance. So Fairfield University had their President's Ball, which happened, if my memory serves me, I think it was last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And someone called that the DJ was too loud. The shift commander checked. There was a variance for the President's Ball, which Fairfield University submitted, and they canceled the call. But at the same time, the officer who was working the detail, because we had several, went to them and said, "Do me a favor, lower the DJ music a little bit. We just got a complaint," and they obliged.
I heard that music from my house.
And that's all on that.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Under new business, is there any new business? I've got something I'd like to bring up, Chief. Sure. And that is, I met with some people over the weekend who were concerned that the officers that direct traffic at all times of the day, especially at night, don't wear gloves. And at some time, many years ago, they did wear gloves, and with some form of illumination on, to demonstrate more clearly what the signals were. And has that issue come up before, or have you discussed that issue?
There's no requirement that they have to wear illuminated gloves or high visibility gloves. They do have flashlights with an orange cone on the top that they use fairly often, and most of the time if it's night. I think it's at the officer's discretion. If it's 80 or 90 degrees out, most officers are just not gonna put on a pair of gloves. If it's nighttime, they're gonna use a flashlight. I mean, that's almost mandatory.
So there's no SOP in it?
There's no SOP and there's no requirement. They have to wear a high visibility reflective vest. That's required, but no, gloves are not required.
But at night, yeah, I mean, they're obviously encouraged to use a flashlight.
Yes.
Have some kind of illumination so people see what they're really directing.
That's correct. And there is an SOP on that.
Thank you.
Commissioner, every car is outfitted with a flashlight and a illuminated cone to go on top of the flashlight.
And they also have flares in their cars and blinking lights that they can, put out on the road. I mean, there's a lot of tools that they have, and sometimes if it's just for a short period of time that they might be directing traffic around a motor vehicle accident or something. But if they're on like a road job and they're gonna be there for the day, then, to your point, if they're there into the night, they should be using a flashlight cone or something a little more illuminated.
Thank you.
Sure.
If there's no new business, we'll go on to the monthly report. Yes, Fran, you
Okay,
were
so
coming?
going over September's stats. You've got 115 property crimes. I had them all together, including 11 stolen cars. And you made 25 closed by arrest larcenies. Or I should say property crimes, 25 closed by arrest. So that gives you a clearance rate of about 22%, and the national average is 12%. So congratulations.
Thank you.
How are we doing with the storm?
I'll pass it on to Captain Cole if you can.
I will. So, we just had a Fairfield County Chiefs meeting yesterday, and I don't think we've all kind of agreed anecdotally that, they haven't declined per se. In fact, I think the violence related to them have somewhat increased, or, if you want to say that the criminals are getting more brazen in the actions that they take as a result of an attempt to steal a car or steal items in a car. Just across the state, we had one guy run outside, I think this was in like Tolland or up somewhere, and they fired a round at him as they left the scene. There was another one where a child was in the car, someone stole the car, and the child was kidnapped. I guess a short time later, they pulled over and left the car and ran. There was a pursuit that came from Rybrook, New York into Greenwich. And everyone yesterday at the Chiefs meeting kind of gave their own story of what's going on in their towns and what's been happening. Westport obviously had that big carjacking, but I don't think the stolen vehicles have come down at all per se. I think it's pretty much stayed steady. The auto theft task force has been a huge help, because it's not only bringing it's not only unifying the departments that are really investigating the same group of people, but it's also bringing intelligence back to their respective departments and providing the patrol level officers with information that they need to be on the lookout for this or that and be hyper vigilant when we do get stolen cars.
And that was particularly that Westport case,
Yes.
was recovery pretty quick. I guess the public really needs to let them know, do not go out there. And call 911, don't, but the immediate reaction sometimes, I think, people just want to save their vehicles.
Yeah, and I'd love to just say, start with locking your car.
Yeah, right.
Because they're not stealing locked cars.
Yeah.
They're stealing unlocked cars with the key fob.
I still can't get over that.
Any other questions? Just a quick one, traffic enforcement.
Yes, sir.
I've seen a lot of police cars out lately on various streets, Burr Street and, and so that's a good sign. Any comments on that?
Yeah, sure. So we, when we were kind of expecting that there was gonna be an influx, an influx of requests for two reasons. One, our Q Alert system, which is our, civilian service, request. So if you have an issue, you can say, hey, I noticed a traffic light out at whatever intersection, and you could put in a service request. In fact, that's the way the process always starts. Well, you can also put in a target area for speeding, stop signs, or any type of traffic enforcement. It's all within that system. So we moved over to that new system, and that was advertised through Town Hall, and we had an expectation that there was going to be people who not only wanted to sign up and try it out. So we kind of gave a directive to all of our patrols and our traffic unit, like, to expect this and be out there and hyper-vigilant. So what we did is we, Pete Koval and Captain Koval and Captain Irizarry, Special Services and Patrol kind of joined forces and kind of split up the work amongst themselves. And as you can see, the list on traffic, targeted enforcement areas has grown probably to almost double, just because we have so many more people focusing on that effort.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments from the board with respect to new business? And if not, then we can go into executive session. So we have a motion to open up executive session.
Make a motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's go into executive session.
Sure, well, it's not appropriate to make a comment now, and we're gonna go into executive session.
Yeah.
So when we go into executive session, it's a private meeting,
Okay,
okay?
so we're gonna have to wait for the...
Well, I guess you can make a comment to the board, sure.
About Mr., what's his name?
He's gone.
Next, okay.
Is that-
You got it. Peter, you
Okay.
gotta cover, you gotta make your statement.
Oh, no motions are made.
No motion to, no votes are taken, all that.
No motions were made, no votes were taken.
Awesome.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, second?
Second.
So we're adjourned. Thank you. Next meeting is